Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. So it seems that in addition to some of the other funky little buffs the Tau are getting, they are also going to be getting access to quite possibly one of the strongest guns we have ever seen in 40k. The much feared lore-wise but generally underwhelming gameplay-wise Railgun is now seeing a huge boost to its damage output in the new codex, and honestly, it is a very deserved one. This is meant to be the premier anti-tank gun in pretty much the entire setting, and is something that has been known to take out Titans before, so I mean, it deserves to be very powerful, and its previous profile, which you can see on your screen now, of strength 10, minus 4 AP, d6 damage, and then d3 mortal wounds on wound rolls of 6, always felt just a little bit mediocre to me. And this of course has only got worse with the number of d3 plus 3 damage weapons that seem to be all over the game at the moment. But now, in what is quite possibly one of the biggest glow-ups in all of 40k, the Railgun now sports this profile. Yeah, I know. That is a strength 14, 72 inch range, minus 6 AP, d3 plus 6 damage gun, which not only ignores invulnerable saves, but also just does a flat extra 3 mortal wounds every time it wounds. So yes, that is a maximum damage output of 12 wounds on a single target. And of course, having those 3 mortal wounds means that those 3 wounds will spill over, so in a pinch, this can also potentially kill 4 1-wound infantry models, or kill a Terminator and then kill another one with those 3 mortals as well. But obviously its main target, the main thing you're going to be shooting this thing at, is things like tanks and dreadnoughts, Mortarion, anything with a good invulnerable save, and all of those things are just going to drop like flies to this weapon now. And just for a little bit of an estimate, this new Railgun will on average do about 10 wounds on a Redemptor, assuming that you hit it, pretty much taking it out the game in one shot, or just, you know, flat out nuking Guilliman in one single salvo. It is honestly absurdly powerful, and I do think that realistically this could very well shake up the very prevalent Dreadnought meta that we seem to be seeing a lot of at the moment. Of course, being a one-shot weapon, it does have the downside of being very swingy, and if you miss, it is really gonna hurt. But in another bit of good news, GW have also got you covered on that front, because with the new targeting array rule, you can, when you shoot with the Hammerhead, reroll 1 hit roll. So this pretty much just gives you, flat out full rerolls to hit on each of your Hammerheads, meaning that those strength 14 shots are very likely to hit your target. And then it's just a simple case of wounding, probably on 2s at strength 14, with, minus 6 AP and ignoring invuns. So yeah, as I said, pretty much anything that you aim a couple of Hammerheads at is just gonna die. It's also worth remembering that at the moment, Hammerheads are a ballistic skill of 3+, instead of the standard 4+ that Tau generally have, so you are going to be hitting with a good 88% of your shots with that reroll, so you are really going to be deadly accurate with this tank as well. And if there's a Tau Sept that, I don't know, gives maybe a reroll of a wound roll per unit, which is quite a popular sort of chapter tactic style ability in most 9th edition codexes, that means that you are potentially looking at hitting on 3s with a reroll, wounding on 2s or 3s, again with a reroll, and then just doing all that potential 12 damage to whatever you look at. The final thing they showed off in the preview today is a new stratagem to help the Hammerheads against hordes of enemies trying to charge towards you and bog them down in melee, which is a legitimate strategy for keeping the tank from doing too much damage. And so this new sub-munition stratagem is going to be really key for your Hammerhead play as well. And what this does is, for a very cheap 1 command point, allows you to, instead of firing the railgun, target an enemy unit within 36 inches and visible to your Hammerhead, and then you roll a dice for each model in the unit, adding a +1 if there is 11 or more models, and then on a 4+, so a 3+ against those big hordes, they suffer a mortal wound up to a maximum of 8. So that is a very easy 5 or 6 mortal wounds against something like a blob of 20 Necron warriors, or a horde of orc boys or gaunts or anything like that, things that you really don't want getting too close to your precious hammerheads, you can just massively cut them down over a couple of rounds of fire if you don't want to be, you know, getting tied up in combat with them, or you have no really heavy tanks or enemy vehicles to destroy, because by turn sort of 2 or 3 you've killed them all already with your railgun. It means that you can very easily shoot most of a squad off an objective, or just finish off a weakened squad that's maybe been shot by your infantry with their pulse rifles or whatever. And I do think it is a genuinely powerful stratagem, especially for only 1 command point. The potential to be able to do 8 mortal wounds instead of the usual cap, which is about 6, which we see in things like the Drukhari Codex and the Ad Mech Codex. The fact that you can do 8 potential mortal wounds on a 3 or a 4 up for 1 command point is, I think, going to make this stratagem a really, really good alternative for when you don't have an enemy land raider to shoot at, but there's a few squads of enemy troops that are holding an objective or getting a bit too close to comfort for your hammerheads. So there we go. I genuinely think that stocks in the Hammerhead tank have just risen dramatically, and having taken a quick look at the GW website, they are currently out of stock, as you can well imagine, so people have been buying them up, presumably having seen this little bit of news. But honestly, I cannot wait to see more hammerheads on the table and see them, you know, one-shotting enemy monsters and vehicles and all that kind of stuff, because I think fluff-wise, that makes sense. The fact that they are so strong is going to be really, really cool to see, and I think almost balances out the fact that they're only one shot. I know they are reliable because they have the reroll, but still, it is just one shot, so you do have to be, you know, expecting the worst to happen, because one-shot weapons, as we all know, always miss when you need them the most. But what do you think of the new railgun rule? Is it exactly what the T'au needed, or do you think that perhaps GW have gone a bit too far and made it a bit too powerful in terms of the scale creep? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I will catch you later, guys.